CBS 12 News starts now with breaking news.
L'Oreal Johnson found safe. The suspect, who local police say snatched him, taken into custody. The cross-country calamity that prompted Friday's Amber Alert in Riviera Beach now winding down. Or is it? What happens next for little L'Oreal and his accused kidnapper? CBS 12 is live with the most up-to-date information and a look back at these trying turn of events. Good evening, friends. Thanks for joining us. I'm Israel Balderas. New information just discovered in the past hour involving the case of a missing Riviera Beach toddler found tonight in Minnesota. CBS 12's Kathleen Walters. She is live at the Riviera Beach Police Department detailing why the woman accused of removing the little boy from our area won't likely face charges in the disappearance.
That's right, Israel, and we have some late-breaking information that we want to share with you. 2-year-old L'Oreal Johnson is now in the care of his grandmother in Minnesota after Grandma, his mom, and Florida officials all agreed that this is the best place for him at this time. This, of course, comes after a nationwide search for a woman initially described as his abductor who might not have abducted him after all.
The 2-year-old is definitely safe, in great condition, does not appear to have been harmed in any way.
Riviera Beach Police spokeswoman Roseanne Brown telling us the search for 2-year-old L'Oreal Johnson is over after an FBI-involved manhunt for suspect Cassandra Edmonds led them from Riviera Beach all the way to Woodbury, Minnesota.
A part of that led to the discovery of the car parked in the Woodbury police jurisdiction. It was unoccupied at the time, so they set up surveillance. And when she returned to the car, she was taken into custody uneventfully.
Edmonds was arrested on felony child abuse charges relating to 2 other children who had been in her care. Roseanne Brown tells me Edmonds likely won't face charges relating to the disappearance of 2-year-old L'Oreal.
To my knowledge, she does not face any charges as it relates to the 2-year-old because additional information was obtained where the mother said that Cassandra was authorized to have the 2-year-old in her custody.
The boy's mother, Samantha Lee Johnson, is serving time in prison for felony drug charges in Minnesota.
And back live now, Riviera Beach Police say Cassandra Edmonds will be extradited back to Palm Beach County. It is not yet clear exactly when. Reporting live in Riviera Beach, Kathleen Walters, CBS 12 News.
Kathleen, thank you. Now, one question that we asked law enforcement is just how hard this case was to investigate.
The challenge was the distance that was covered, and the challenge was conflicting information that kind of changed from time to time.
Not only did Riviera Beach Police take part in this case, but so did DCF, FDLE, the FBI, and the U.S. Marshal's Office. Now, we did some digging and found that Cassandra Edmonds has several aliases. We also found that she was convicted in 1999 on check forgery, and she was arrested in 2009 in Woodbury, Minnesota, for a warrant out of St. Louis County. We're still working to find out what that warrant was for. Now, I'm here at the Interactive Center just to show you how far Minnesota is from West Palm Beach. Now, Duluth is where Riviera Beach Police tell us that little L'Oreal Johnson was found. From South Florida to Minnesota, the distance is 1,700 miles. Now, that would take around 26 hours to travel the 7 states that L'Oreal and Cassandra drove together. Now, this emotional cross-country ordeal began 3 days ago. That's when the Florida Department of Children and Families says it began this investigation after a tip to the Florida Abuse Hotline. At first, DCF decides to remove 2 children from Edmonds' custody after getting the phone tip. During their investigation, the agency discovers L'Oreal Johnson also lives in the home. However, the 2-year-old hasn't been seen since Thursday night in Riviera Beach. The Amber Alert is then issued around 3 p.m. Friday for the missing toddler, but then it's promptly canceled several hours later. Late Friday night, law enforcement reveals the search for the child is ongoing. However, Riviera Beach Police telling CBS 12 that due to additional information, this case no longer meets all criteria for an Amber Alert. Officials believe Laurel is now with Cassandra Edmonds traveling in a Chrysler vehicle towards Minnesota. On Saturday afternoon, Woodbury, Minnesota police arrest Edmonds at a shopping center walking towards her car, and shortly thereafter, Laurel Johnson found safe and in good health by police in Duluth. And be sure to stay with CBS 12 as we work to get some of the unknown answers in this case solved. Now, some of those questions, when will Cassandra Edmonds be back in our area exactly? Once we get those questions answered, you can count on us to let you know, both on air and online at CBS12.com. Well, right now, we're working to learn the identity of those involved in an early morning shootout and police chase at Club Envy in Palm Springs. The car chase ended early this morning with a car crashing into this light pole at Kirk Road and Forest Hill Boulevard. After that happened, police and witnesses say the people in the car fled the area through Palm Springs Middle School. Police dogs caught the two suspects in the neighborhood behind the school.
You said you saw a police dog? And he was running up and down the street?
Yeah, and I just saw a couple of cops. I was running over there.
Again, police have not released the identity of the suspects, but we're told they need your help finding a second vehicle involved in this shooting. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Palm Springs Police Department. Well, this 2-acre brush fire is now out. The blaze broke out around 3 this afternoon on D Road in the Loxahatchee Groves area of Palm Beach County. Fire investigators telling us they are working to figure out exactly what caused the fire to spark, but fire crews told our news crew on the scene that they believe the fire was caused by a downed power line. Now, we are tracking hot and dry conditions across the CBS 12 viewing area, but when will this dryness end? Storm Track meteorologist Michael Ehrenberg joins us now with your first forecast. Michael.
Hey there, Israel. Looks like the dry weather going to stick around for at least the next couple of days. And yeah, that continues to mean issues for the brush fire situation. The reason, because it hasn't rained in a week now. You add in strong May sunshine that dries out the brush and the grass, and you get a gusty breeze. And because of that, our drought index numbers are now well over 500 in Palm Beach County. That means the fire threat is high, so we'll continue to monitor that throughout the days ahead. Meanwhile, it is warm and almost stifling out in some areas. 79 right now in West Palm Beach. Hello to you in Boca Raton. Your temperature right now is 78 and even 73 in the usually cooler Okeechobee. Hey, we got Mother's Day morning coming up with temperatures only dropping a few more degrees. As you get up early tomorrow morning, it will be in the low and mid 70s. When I come back, I'll have the forecast for the rest of your Mother's Day. We'll talk about the next weather maker, when it will bring us much needed rain. We'll check out the rip current risk. And of course, I'll have your 7-day forecast too in a little bit. Izzy?
Well, tonight, the healing begins after family and friends gather to say goodbye for a life lost far too soon. Friends and family came together today in Delray Beach to remember 6-year-old Darian Demasier. He, along with Jean Odiales, drowned a few weeks ago in Delray Beach. Darian jumped into a pool to save his friend who was struggling to swim. Now, both were students at Orchard View Elementary School. Right now, a man fighting for his life after being injured diving offshore. According to Palm Beach County Fire and Rescue, the individual was hurt off the Jupiter shore this morning, and right now he's in critical condition at Jupiter Medical Center. No word on how he was injured. And one person is in the hospital right now as well after being hurt during a fire in Delray Beach. Palm Beach County Fire and Rescue telling CBS 12 that they got the call about the fire just before 11 this morning. After getting into the home, they found the fire and they quickly put it out. The person hurt is at Delray Beach Medical Center. Well, the clock is ticking and drivers only have one more full day to use the Flagler Memorial Bridge. Starting Monday morning, that bridge closes for 6 months. That's due to repairs. Flagler connects Palm Beach to West Palm Beach, and to keep traffic congestion down, the town of Palm Beach staggering work times for city employees, and the county's Traffic Operations Center will also be monitoring congestion in real time. Well, it's a competition which just might save your life. Today in Boca Raton, EMS teams from all over Florida came together for the annual EMS competition. The teams competed in several mock scenarios, from mass casualty incidents to hazmat situations, all of which could be just the thing that saves your life in an emergency. And This is the 7th year for this type of competition. Well, honoring those who do so much for education, as members of the Black Educators Caucus of Palm Beach County, they came together for its scholarship breakfast. And also happening at today's breakfast, a second town hall meeting with Palm Beach County School Superintendent Wayne Gent. Plus, CBS 12 also recognized for the station's role in education. Our assistant news director, Lawrence Gans, he accepted the award on behalf of the entire station staff. Well, in your Florida focus, Tiger Woods' ex-wife, Elin Nordegren, took a big step in moving on from the pro golfer. Nordegren graduated with a degree from Rollins College in Orlando today. Now, in addition to speaking at the ceremony, you see her there at the podium, she was awarded the Outstanding Graduating Senior Honor. That's the college's equivalent to valedictorian status. Elin and Woods were married for 6 years. They divorced in 2010, if you'll recall, after a very highly publicized cheating scandal. Well, 2 little boys from Lakeland in the fight of their young lives tonight after being found floating face down in a swimming pool. The boys, ages 2 years and 18 months, they were visiting their grandparents at the time of the near drowning. The Polk County Sheriff's Office saying tonight the gate to the pool was left open. The boys had been missing for about 15 minutes prior to family members finding them in that pool. Well, still ahead, more than 12 years after they died in a terrorist attack, the unidentified remains of those killed on 9/11 are moved to what may be a final resting place. And hundreds of kidnapped girls taken from a safe environment and now possibly facing slavery. That's the situation right now in Nigeria, but this unthinkable human trafficking situation also taking place right in our own backyard. It's a CBS 12 investigation. 2 people are dead and 1 is still missing after a hot air balloon catches fire in mid-flight. Witnesses catching these images Friday night near Richmond, Virginia. A hot air balloon hitting a power line and then bursting into flames as it fell to the ground. Several reports indicated that 2 people jumped from the basket.
You could hear them screaming, "Please, dear God, sweet Jesus, help us. We're going to die. Oh my God, please help us. Please help us."
Authorities say the search is ongoing, but the rescue operation now refocused on recovery. 2 University of Richmond basketball team officials were traveling in the balloon basket. Under a gray and overcast sky, the unidentified remains of 9/11 victims were quietly transported to their final resting place in New York today. It was a somber procession that included New York police, fire, and city vehicles, all escorting the remains through Lower Manhattan and back to the World Trade Center site. The last victims will now rest in an underground repository at the National September 11th Memorial Museum. That museum officially opens to the public in just a week. Nigeria's army is now stepping up the hunt for hundreds of schoolgirls. They were abducted by the Islamist group Boko Haram, now condemned globally. But if you think human trafficking doesn't happen here, Homeland Security agents say, think again. CBS 12's Kathleen Walter reports on why South Florida is the perfect storm.
In South Florida's agricultural fields, at tourist attractions, and even neighborhood businesses, human trafficking victims and, yes, even modern-day slaves are hiding in plain sight.
South Florida in general is the perfect storm for human trafficking. We have the agricultural industry, we have the tourism industry, and there's a need for workers.
Homeland Security Special Agent John Longo tells us human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar problem in which victims come from all over the world to the Sunshine State in search of the American dream, something traffickers prey on, then turn that dream into a nightmare.
People's lives are being destroyed. Women are being raped 30 to 40 times a day. Workers in the fields are being worked until they're destroyed. People's lives are being used like garbage, just crinkled up and tossed into the trash for other people's profits. It's deplorable.
While we couldn't get numbers for our area, national numbers, however, tell a story. In 2010, there were 651 human trafficking investigations and 144 convictions. The next year, there were 722 such investigations and 271 convictions. Special Agent Longo says his agency is seeing an increase in these numbers across the board.
South Florida is a true melting pot. People from any ethnicity, any country can come to Florida and they'll fit in. They won't be seen as different from anyone else, so they can really hide in plain sight.
And where are most of these modern-day slaves coming from? We're told most of the victims in our area are from South and Central America. Kathleen Walter, CBS 12 News.
It's their first line of defense during a life-or-death shootout with criminals, but one police department has discovered some newly purchased guns simply do not work. How did the department find the fault? Watch CBS 12 News this morning, Sunday, for that story and more, starting at 6. Well, where rodeo meets high society, all at the Cattle Barons Ball tonight. CBS 12's Stephanie Watson, the MC for tonight's event in Palm City. It all goes to benefit the American Cancer Society. Among tonight's guests, U.S. Congressman Patrick Murphy. Well, a good start to the weekend, but a little windy out there. That's causing some problems with some rip currents.
A little bit of rip current activity there, Israel, and plus the clouds, so not exactly the best beach day, maybe?
Yeah.
Hoping for better tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's take a look. Actually, this is South Beach Park in Boca Raton, where we had a lot of people out there strolling around there. Very pleasant part of South County. And yet, look at those seas, about 2, 3, 4 feet out there. And you notice not a lot of people in the water, probably because of that rip current activity. Now, tomorrow, if you go to the beach, the rip current risk is still going to be in that moderate to high range, with seas tomorrow running about 2 to 4 feet. But you know what? The water temperature is almost pushing 80 in South County. So at least for the tourists and even some of the Florida natives, getting warm enough to head on into the water. So on our weather headlines, it's going to be warm and breezy and muggy for tomorrow. The rip currents, yeah, they're still around. And our next weather maker, we continue to track that. What this next weather maker is a wave or a trough of low pressure that's due on our doorstep Wednesday or Thursday. And what that will do is finally break this dry pattern. And there it is, that little dashed yellow line. It's a little wind shift line, and that'll bring us some showers, breezy weather for both Wednesday and on into the Thursday with rain chances about 40%. Meanwhile, right now, it's sticky out there in Boca Raton. It's still 80 degrees at this hour. West Palm Beach is 79 and Vero Beach checking in with 78. The winds today were gusting 20 to 25. Right now, though, they're backing down a little bit. Southeast in West Palm at 12, southeast 12 miles an hour there in Vero Beach. Still a little bit of clouds to come across our skies tonight. All in all, though, the clouds will break up a little bit tomorrow. So I'm expecting partly sunny skies in our zone forecast. Treasure Coast, 86 in Vero, 89 in Okeechobee tomorrow. Northern Palm Beach County, Jupiter, West Palm Beach, Riviera Beach, Palm Beach Gardens, mid to upper 80s. And in Southern Palm Beach County, from Green Acres and Lake Worth down through Delray and Boca, your highs tomorrow, mid and upper 80s as well. So maybe you're looking for something to do. Well, how about the Vero Beach Air Show? I hear the Blue Angels are going to be there tomorrow. The Vero Beach Airport should be good weather for that. Partly sunny, breezy. Highs tomorrow in Vero, right about 85. All right, hour by hour, there's the high pressure giving us the breeze, the clockwise flow out of the east. That'll be the story for tomorrow. Similar setup for Monday. Tuesday, the hour-by-hour plot shows a little bit more in the way of some scattered showers, but the real weather, the big weather maker, will come in with more generous showers for Wednesday and on to Thursday. Back to tonight, though, no problems for tonight. Partly cloudy, breezy at the beaches, mild and muggy. Most of us are not going to get below the low 70s, so you're going to want to keep that AC on all night long. And tomorrow, happy early Mother's Day to all you moms out there. We're looking at sun and clouds mixed tomorrow, a balmy breeze with highs mid and upper 80s. Again, because of that breeze, do watch for the rip currents. You'll want to swim at guarded beaches tomorrow if you're lucky enough to get out there with seas running from 2 to 4 feet. And here's your 7-day forecast and featuring the weekend, always in view here at CBS 12. And what it features is increasing rain chances, especially for Wednesday and Thursday, and then drying out for late in the week. There's your weather.
Never forget Mom on her day. Coming up next in sports, Dolphins GM Dennis Hickey has his first draft in the books, addressing a wide array of needs, but are his late picks battle-tested enough? We'll hear from Hickey on that. Plus, the Heat looking to put a stranglehold on their series with the Nets, but they were the ones gasping for air in Brooklyn. John Evanson takes us there next. John Evanson here with sports, and for those who thought Miami Heat was just going to walk to the next round in the playoffs, they were a little wrong.
Yes, yeah, it was a tough atmosphere in Brooklyn tonight for sure. The Miami Heat were the only undefeated playoff team left heading into tonight. 6 down, 10 to go for a three-peat, but easier said than done the deeper you go in the playoffs, especially when Game 3 was deep in the heart of Brooklyn. The Nets giving the Heat all they could handle. Up 4 in the third, D-Wade puts on D pressure, D Steele capped off by D Dunk, but it was D3 that did the Heat in. Mirza Teletovic nails one from one borough over and keeps raining threes. He had 4 altogether. Joe Johnson had 5, who led the way with 19 points. The Nets turn this into a series. 104-90 win. Game 4 is Monday night in Brooklyn. To the Players' Championship, Stuart Sink still has the best last name for a golfer, especially when Stuart sinks his approach shots like this from 139 yards out. The eagle gets him to 5 under. Very nice. Martin Keimer, the leader heading into the day. Easy breezy bird back in the lead at 12 under. But the 18th hole, 20-year-old Jordan Spieth buries his par, still bogey free. Tied for the lead at 12 under as well. A chance to become the youngest Players' champ ever tomorrow. No one in South Florida enjoyed the first 2 days of the NFL draft more than Ryan Tannehill. Sacked 58 times last season. Shrieks of joy when offensive tackles Juwan James and Billy Turner were drafted by the Dolphins. But the first order of business today was to fatten up a thin secondary. Yeah, this Finn's drafting Walt Aiken in the 4th round, 125th overall. The 6', 203-pound mobile cornerback out of Liberty is considered by many as a rising player. Told our partners at the Sun Sentinel he loves the Dolphins' vision.
I took a visit a couple weeks ago, and I just fell in love with the coaches. I mean, they have a lot in common with my goals, and I have a lot in common with their plans. And they like big physical corners, so I'm there for that.
Well, Dolphins added some offensive punch in the 5th round, selecting tight end Arthur Lynch out of Georgia. The big guy was selected to the All-SEC first team last year. 30 receptions, 459 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And you want a linebacker, Dolphin fans? Well, Jordan Tripp may be your guy. Called himself the most versatile linebacker in the draft, so no shortage of confidence. The 6'3", 235-pounder has the fastest 20-yard shuffle run at the NFL Scouting Combine, I should say, since A.J. Hawk in 2006. Now, 2 more picks and lights here. Wide receiver Matt Hazel, picked in the 6th round out of Coastal Carolina. The Fins took defensive end Terrence Fede. It's Fede. It's Fede. Fede, I got it right there. And the first ever draftee out of Marist. So I had to get his name right. GM Dennis Hickey putting his faith in the small schools despite the level of competition they had to face.
When they do rise to the level of competition, and several of these guys played at the Senior Bowl, or they play at the East-West, where the competition, where they're playing, is risen. How did they respond to that? And that that's how we judge them and put a lot of stock into that.
And a historic draft pick tonight, defensive lineman Michael Sam becoming the first openly gay player to ever be drafted into the NFL. The St. Louis Rams picking the All-American from Missouri in the 7th round, 249th overall. Rams coach Jim Fisher called him and said, quote, "You are a Ram. The wait is finally over." Meanwhile, he played linebacker and tight end at Palm Beach Central High School, but today Pat O'Donnell was drafted 191st overall by the Chicago Bears as a punter. The big guy was so efficient for the Miami Hurricanes last season. The Bears must be impressed to actually draft a punter, but who knows, maybe they'll throw him in as a linebacker or tight end in his spare time. He is a big guy.
Yeah, and the team needs everybody.
They do.
They do. They're in desperate need.
Exactly.
We'll be right back. All right, final weather for Mother's Day.
Important day tomorrow, Israel.
You cannot forget it.
Yes, take a look here. Moms, I think you're going to like it with mostly the partly sunny skies, a little bit of a breeze, upper 80s. We stay dry for a few more days, and then showers in the plan for Wednesday, Thursday.
It's my wife's first Mother's Day.
That's right.
Congratulations to your wife as well.
Happy Mother's
Say
Day,
good night,
everybody.
Gracie. Yeah, exactly.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night.
I don't know what that
means. We'll see you tomorrow at 6:30.
All the Gracies out there.